In 2012, the Ministry of Defense and the SDF engaged in various activities, both domestically and internationally. Now let's look back over this past year together. In February 2012, BMD special training was conducted between MSDF and U.S. Navy vessels that were linked to each other by a network, following the first training in the previous year. The training simulated intercepting a ballistic missile and was aimed at strengthening coordination between MSDF and U.S. Navy fleets. Later, when North Korea launched a missile purported to be a satellite in April and in December 2012, the Ministry of Defense took responsive measures. North Korean officials announced the launch of an Earth observation satellite on December 1, 2012, and on the same day, Japan's Minister of Defense issued an order for the preparation of destruction measures against ballistic missiles, and SDF began the preparations for the launch. The Japan Self-Defense Forces deployed Aegis destroyers equipped with SM-3 missiles in the Sea of Japan and the East China Sea, and Patriot PAC-3 units on the islands of Okinawa Prefecture and within the Tokyo metropolitan area, and also dispatched necessary GSDF and ASDF units to the southwestern islands to carry out a quick response in the event of any damage caused by debris of missiles. On December 7th, Minister of Defense issued an order for the destruction measures against ballistic missiles. Around 9:51 a.m. on December 12th, the Ministry of Defense and the Self-Defense Forces confirmed the launch of a flying object on the west coast of North Korea and swiftly transmitted information to the Crisis Management Center in the Prime Minister's office. The part of the North Korean missile, which was purported to be a satellite, was estimated to have passed over the Okinawa region at 10:01, and the Self-Defense Forces did not carry out any destructive measures against ballistic missiles. Earlier in the evening on the same day, the Minister of Defense issued an order to terminate the measures and swiftly ordered the SDF units to withdraw. In July 2012, heavy rain in northern Kyushu caused severe damage in Fukuoka, Kumamoto, and Oita prefectures. The units located in northern Kyushu received requests to dispatch for disaster relief operations from each prefectural governor of Oita, Kumamoto, and Fukuoka. Upon request from the prefecture, the disaster relief operation units including GSDF Western Army Artillery Unit departed Camp Yufuin on July 12th. They conducted information gathering, rescue of isolated residents, and water supply operations. On the same day, upon request from Kumamoto Prefecture, the disaster relief operation units, including GSDF 8th Division, swiftly initiated collecting information by aircraft and other means, and the infantry worked to save isolated residents and provided water supply. In Fukuoka Prefecture, disaster relief dispatches began on July 14th, and the GSDF 4th Division units implemented activities such as the rescue of isolated residents and flood prevention work. The SDF actively adopted many of the lessons learned from its response to the Great East Japan earthquake. The SDF reviewed disaster relief plans in order to swiftly and accurately respond to various disasters, including large-scale earthquakes, and carried out various disaster response drills, such as the SDF Joint Disaster Relief Exercise. The Japan-U.S. Bilateral Joint Training Exercise has been conducted nearly every year since 1985, with command post exercises and field training exercises being carried out alternatively. The 19th Command Post exercise was conducted in January 2012, and the 11th Field Training exercise was in November 2012. In addition, the GSDF, MSDF, and ASDF conduct bilateral training and exercise with the U.S. forces not only in Japan, but also in the United States, including the Japan-U.S. Joint Regional Army Command Post exercises, training of MSDF assets such as destroyers carried out in the U.S. and Japan-U.S. joint fighter combat training. In order to improve capabilities of defense of offshore islands, the GFDF West Army dispatched units to Tiananmen and other islands of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands from August 21st to September 26, 2012. During the training, the units practiced tactics and combat skills necessary to conduct operations on offshore islands, as well as mutual cooperation procedures with the U.S. Marine Corps in an effort to maintain and improve its capabilities. Such joint training exercises are indispensable as a means of improving interoperability and ensuring the smooth implementation of Japan-U.S. bilateral actions through promotion of mutual understanding and close communication on each other's tactics during peacetime. Close security policy consultations have been conducted among defense and foreign affairs officials at various levels in the governments of Japan and the United States through meetings such as the Japan-U.S. Security Consultative Committee 2+2 meeting and the Security Subcommittee. The Ministry of Defense organizes Japan-U.S. defense ministerial meetings between the Japanese Minister of Defense and the U.S. Secretary of Defense as needed, with a focus on defense policies of the respective governments and defense cooperation. In addition, under the Japan-U.S. Secretary arrangements, the Ministry of Defense and Self-Defense Forces hold meetings and exchange information with the U.S. Department of Defense as needed, including the Administrative Vice Minister of Defense and Chiefs of Staff on the Self-Defense Forces. Since air defense and ballistic missile defense (BMD) require quick response, sharing of necessary information between Japan and the U.S. in a prompt manner is of prime importance. To achieve this, by the end of FY 2011, the ASDF Air Defense Command, that comprised of 800 personnel, had been transferred from Fuchu Base to Yokota Air Base, where the headquarters of the United States 5th Air Force is located. The relocation, coupled with establishment of the Bilateral Joint Operations Coordination Center, which commenced operation at the end of FY 2011, strengthened such coordination as sharing of information on air defense and BMD between the two headquarters. It is extremely difficult for countries to tackle international security challenges on their own today, and it is important for Japan to work together with its allies, like-minded nations, and other relevant countries. In recent years, the role of and cooperation among defense authorities have been expanding and advancing in non-traditional security areas, such as humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, disposal of landmines and unexploded shells, and military medicine. The international community recognizes the importance for them to improve the capabilities of relevant countries in such areas, namely capacity building. Under such circumstances, the Ministry of Defense decided to actively support capacity building in order to improve international security and has begun capacity building projects since FY 2012. For instance, ground self-defense officials, internal bureaus personnel, and private sector personnel were dispatched to Timor-Leste and Cambodia and engaged in a long-term program for human resource development in the area of humanitarian assistance for Timor-Leste or engineering and PKO for Cambodia. The MSDF took part in RIMPAC 2012 on June 29, 2012. Naval vessels, submarines, and aircraft from 22 countries, including Japan, gathered in Hawaii, and the exercises were conducted through August 3rd. In recent years, exercises involve not only tactical training using naval vessels, but also exercises concerning disaster relief. The multilateral joint exercise Cobra Gold 2012 was held in Thailand from February 7th through the 17th, in which the self-defense forces took part. Cobra Gold is designed to improve integrated operational capabilities concerning international peace cooperation activities and transportation of overseas Japanese through a command post exercise and field exercises related to international peace cooperation activities. The self-defense forces participated in the Pacific Partnership PP 2012, hosted by the U.S. Navy, and engaged in activities in the Philippines from June 18th to July 1st, 2012, and in Vietnam from July 10th through the 24th. Specifically, the SDF dispatched a medical team, an MSDF landing ship, and an ASDF transport aircraft for PP activities, and the participants provided medical care and engaged in cultural exchange in cooperation with NGOs. These are important activities, contributing to regional peace and stability in a proactive and responsible manner. In order to improve the security environment in the Asia-Pacific region, as well as across the globe, and ensure the safety and prosperity of Japan, it is important to utilize the Japan-U.S. alliance as an axis, while developing networks that combine frameworks of bilateral and multilateral dialogue, exchanges, and cooperation in a multi-layered manner. Accordingly, in 2012, the Ministry of Defense and the SDF continued to conduct defense cooperation and exchanges with various countries, such as Australia and the Republic of Korea, which share common fundamental values and security interests. Southeast Asian countries, which have been traditionally partners of Japan, and India, which forms a strategic global partnership with Japan. Since February 1996, Japan has dispatched a total of approximately 1,500 personnel to the Golan Heights to take part in ONDOF missions over nearly 17 years. Staff officers at ONDOF headquarters carried out planning and coordination relating to transport and maintenance, as well as PR activities. The transport unit provides logistic support necessary for the activities of ONDOF, such as transportation of daily commodities like food, as well as repair of roads. For many years, Japan has been contributing to peace and stability in the Golan Heights region, which constitutes a central challenge of peace negotiations between Israel and Syria, mediated by the ONDOF. However, due to the rapidly worsening Syria situation involving the Golan Heights, Japan has concluded in December 2012 that it is difficult to continue meaningful contributions to the ONDOF missions while securing the safety of Japanese personnel dispatched there. Under such circumstances, the SDF units dispatched and personnel served at ONDOF headquarters discontinued their duties and quickly withdrew to Japan. Finally, Japan's service and peace cooperation duties in Golan Heights ended in January 2013. Japanese personnel have been given credit for their achievements, capabilities, and discipline from international community, including the UN officials, Syria, and Israel. In the waters off the coast of Somalia, acts of piracy such as hijackings have been continuing in 2012, as in the previous year. In order to continue tackling the problems associated with the acts of piracy in this area, on July 13, 2012, Japan decided to extend the period of its anti-piracy measures for another year. The two destroyers currently deployed have been escorting civilian vessels back and forth across the Gulf of Aden. The destroyers guard the front and rear of the convoy, and helicopters carried on the destroyers also watch the surrounding area from the sky. As of December 31, 2012, our destroyers escorted 2,930 vessels. These vessels didn't come to any harm from pirates under the protection of the destroyers and sailed safely across the Gulf of Aden. Maritime Patrol Aircraft P-3C, based in the Republic of Djibouti, conducts warning and surveillance operations in the Gulf of Aden, which covers an area as large as the territory of Japan. The aircraft has flown 815 missions as of December 31, 2012, and their flying hours totaled 6,500 hours. Approximately 65,000 ships have been identified, and information has been provided about 7,300 times to vessels navigating in the vicinity and other countries engaging in anti-piracy operations. In the aftermath of the independence of South Sudan, the United Nations mission in the Republic of South Sudan, UNMISS, was established on July 9, 2011. Since January 2012, GSDF's Engineer Unit, which consists of approximately 330 personnel, and Coordination Center staff, which consists of approximately 30 personnel, was dispatched to South Sudan, with the rotation being conducted 3 consecutive times, and each personnel served for about a half a year. The dispatched engineer units in Juba carried out activities such as the construction of an encampment, site preparation within the UN facility, repair of roads outside the UN facility, and site development for the International Organization facility. The coordination centers identified what to be addressed by the engineer unit in Juba, also in Uganda cities of Entebbe and Kampala, coordinated transport of materials needed for the deployment of the engineer unit. In addition, the coordination centers have started coordinating with Australian Defence Force personnel who were dispatched for these centers since the end of August 2012. Upon the request of the United Nations, 2 GSDF officials were dispatched to serve as military liaison officers from September 2010 to September 2012. Each personnel served with 6 months term, and a total of 8 personnel were dispatched in turn to contribute to the United Nations Integrated Mission in Timor-Leste, UNMIT. Japan dispatched a female self-defense official to the UN missions for the first time in the second dispatch. One of the 2 dispatched military liaison officers stayed in Bobonaro and the other in Bukau, where they visited border monitoring posts and villages in their covering areas for hearing investigation on the security situation and reports to the UNMIT headquarters. The dispatched Japanese personnel proactively interacted with local communities and were given credit from United Nations and Timor-Leste government officials. A major earthquake struck Haiti in January 2010, causing the deaths of over 300,000 victims. In response to a request from the United Nations, Japan started dispatching the headquarters personnel and engineer units, which consisted of approximately 350 personnel at peak times, from February 2010 to contribute to the United Nations Stabilization Mission in Haiti, MINUSTA, to support the recovery, reconstruction, and stabilization of Haiti. The dispatched Japanese personnel have carried out various duties such as removal of rubble, leveling of the ground, repair of roads, and construction of simple facility. These activities were carried out in collaboration with units from other countries as needed. In addition, Japan also placed importance on the collaboration with other organizations, such as ODA and NGOs, and engaged in said activities with them. These efforts of dispatched Japanese personnel played a significant role not only in supporting the recovery of Haiti, but also setting up an environment that facilitates a long-term reconstruction scheme in Haiti. Their activities were given credit in terms of their discipline as well as achievements from the international community, including the UN officials. Japan's international peace cooperation duties in Haiti were concluded in October 2012 when engineering operations were completed. In January 2012, the reshuffled NOTA cabinet was launched. and a member of the House of Councilors, Naoki Tanaka took office as the Minister of Defense. In June 2012, by the reshuffle of the second Noda cabinet, Satoshi Morimoto from a private sector became the new Minister of Defense. The second Abe cabinet was inaugurated in December 2012. A member of the House of Representatives, Itsunori Onodera, became the new Minister of Defense. The London Olympic Games were held in August 2012. 13 personnel from the SDF took part in the Games. In wrestling, Captain Hitomi Obara and Second Lieutenant Tatsuhiro Yonemitsu won gold medals. In addition, First Lieutenant Shinichi Yumoto won a bronze medal. In boxing, Second Lieutenant Satoshi Shimizu, who competed in the bantam weight class, won a bronze medal. Many other SDF personnel played an active role in events such as shooting, track and field, swimming, and the modern pentathlon. The Ministry of Defense is striving to improve equipment through research and development. The Nbc Reconnaissance Vehicle. This was developed to replace the chemical surveillance vehicle and biological, the reconnaissance vehicle, and is designed to analyze contamination status by measuring radiation, as well as detecting and identifying toxic chemical agents and biological agents, which enables us to transmit information immediately. The Type 10 tank is the GSDF's fourth-generation indigenous main battle tank. A large improvement was made in such capabilities as anti-tank combat, mobile attack, and countermeasures against Special Operations Forces. The most remarkable characteristic of the Type 10 tank lies in its C4I function: command, control, communications, computers, and intelligence. This can be incorporated into the GSDF network to ensure sharing of information among tanks, and it can also be connected to the infantry's field computer network to facilitate integrated military operations with the infantry troops. The MSDF flag ceremony for the destroyer Akizuki was held on March 2012, and it was deployed to the Sasebo Harbor. The destroyer Akizuki is a promising new type destroyer equipped with a multiple function radar FCS-3. The submarine Kenu, which is the fourth Soryu-class submarine, was commissioned in March 2012. 4 submarines equipped with an AIP system are deployed, and they play an important role for continuous information gathering, warning, and surveillance activities around our country. The minesweeper Coastal Enoshima. Whereas traditional minesweepers had adopted wooden hull, Enoshima-class minesweeper is a new type which adopts FRP, fiber-reinforced plastic hull. Thereby, it enables to extend life, especially of hull. The Ministry of Defense and Self-Defense Forces engage in various activities in an effort to promote a better understanding on what the SDF does among the public. The 63rd Sapporo Snow Festival was held for 7 days from February 6, 2012, during which a total of 2,054,000 people visited the event. As in other years, headquarters of the GSDF Northern Army and the GSDF 11th Bridge provided support in transportation of snow, as well as the making of snow sculptures. On August 26th, the GSDF conducted the 2012 Bougie Firepower Review at the East Fuji Maneuver Area. Approximately 2,400 personnel, 80 tanks, 50 various types of artillery, 30 aircrafts, and so on, took part in the exercise. The MSDF's anti-submarine patrol aircraft P-3C joined the exercise for the first time this fiscal year. In addition, firing was conducted using newly procured Type 10 tanks and mid-range multi-purpose guided missiles. The dynamic display of these live-firing exercises fascinated about 31,200 spectators who cheered loudly with excitement. The Self-Defense Forces Marching Festival 2012 was held at the Nippon Budokan for 2 days on November 16th and 17th, with the theme Harmony Playing Our Dreams. A fleet review was held in 2012. The Commander-in-Chief of the Self-Defense Forces, Prime Minister, reviewed the fleet. He boosted morale of the troops and sent out a message to Japan and abroad that the SDF are strong. In order for the Ministry of Defense and Self-Defense Forces to smoothly and effectively implement various measures, it is important to gain understanding and cooperation of local governments and local residents. Regional defense bureaus host seminars on defense issues. In these seminars, in addition to Ministry of Defense officials delivering the keynote speech, a question and answer session is held. Amid various changing domestic and international circumstances, the Ministry of Defense and the SDF are determined to continue to engage in a wide range of activities that contribute to the defense of Japan and international peace.